Hello, and welcome to episode 127 of Millennial Movie Talk. I am Alex, one of your hosts, also joined by Michael Herman.
Hello.
Christian B.N. Keeney.
Hello.
Steph Rillo.
Hello.
And on the Braden cam, Braden.
Hello.
Jackson. There we go. We're all here. How are we all?
So Braden has a last name also?
I said
He did.
okay.
It was just sort of under him saying hello.
I gotta
Everyone
check
got
with
proper
you.
titles except
I got to check with you. Did I say the name right this week?
Yeah, I mean, there's not meant to be a large pause. There wasn't 3 names, there's 2 names. Do you want us to add in the 3rd name to make it even better?
Yeah. What's your middle name? Emilio?
Emilio.
Emilio.
Named after Emilio Estevez. Just a
Nice.
little fact there.
I'm Anthony. So
What's up?
Anthony.
Anthony.
What are your middle names?
He's
Wait.
Richard.
Just going to dox it.
Middle
Richard.
names.
Your middle name is Richard.
Yes.
Dick.
What?
And you're
Michael Dick. Yeah.
Michael Dick.
You're
I
something.
I have one. Thanks.
I'm something.
You're something. You got a generic white one for the middle.
Oh, yeah.
John.
It's like
Glenn?
John. It's like John, James, Matthew,
Oh, no.
William,
Braden John Smith.
David.
David.
My father and my father's father, his middle name is John. My middle name is Tyler.
Oh,
Tyler.
Tyler.
That's a nice
Alright.
name.
Tyler.
Tyler.
That's a nice
was
name.
it was between that or Braden, and my parents went, nah, we'll go with Braden. And then Fight Club came out,
Oh.
What's your
and they were
middle
like,
name?
damn, we should have called it Tyler.
My middle name is Jade.
Jade. Not very
Jade.
Italian.
Yeah, that's not very Italian.
No,
very
Middle name
it's
is
like
Jade.
the Bratz, like the Bratz doll, and like the precious gem.
Stephanie
how you went to the brand
Jada
store.
I was
yeah,
gonna-
you can't.
Did you say Milo as my last name?
Stephanie Jada
That's it. Yeah.
Can you
yeah.
help me?
My first 2 names aren't. They broke the
They didn't
trend.
try.
I'm not named after either of my nonnas.
Oh, how'd that go down?
Lena or Domenica.
Oh God, you
Could you
bullets there.
imagine?
Dodged a bullet.
two.
2 bullets.
2 bullets.
Mate, you did bullet time with that
Fucking Matrix out here.
one. So movies.
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 We like them. We watch them.
We like movies.
We watch one every week with a segment we like to call.
Fuck, this is so nerve wracking.
Are we going to get the soundboard right? No.
Nah.
That's one down.
What is it?
Next one down.
No.
No.
I can't see names.
Classic
we need
call-outs.
Yeah, that. We need to put names on them.
Classic Callouts is a segment we like that we came up with a while ago, which is we're young and we haven't watched a lot of classic movies, so we compiled a list of films that none of us had ever seen.
That received a major update today.
Oh yeah, we've
The
added.
list doubled.
We're adding so.
We
We love
realised-
this
We're
segment.
extending. Yeah,
did.
we're
We
extending.
realised this segment's got longevity. So.
This is
And
the
I gotta
strongest
say-
part of the show.
I had nothing to add, but now that Alex played a little bit of a previous segment, which I missed, surely we got to put an old James Bond movie on there.
True. We'll come back to that later.
Yep.
We can do that when we actually get a new James Bond.
Yeah.
One day.
November 11th.
It's coming.
One day.
So this week's classic call out was Dog Day Afternoon, starring Al Pacino and Fredo.
1975.
And Fredo,
And Fredo.
who we learned passed away. This was his. I think this was his last
He's
film.
got like 8 credits.
Yeah, he's got 8 credits in his
It was
7-year career or something
Cancer
like
or
that.
something.
And
wasn't it?
most
It was
of
like
them
40.
Oh.
got nominated for Best Picture.
Damn.
yeah. Most of them were nominated for Best Picture, and his partner, long-term partner at the time of his death, was Meryl Streep.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting man.
Right?
Fredo.
I did just.
Did he die
didn't
young?
expect that.
He was
40?
in his 40s, I think.
42 or was it
Very
late
young.
40s?
We like Fredo.
We do like Freddie.
Anyway, Dog Day Afternoon, what do we all think? Christian?
What do you want to summarize what the film is
Come on,
for any youngsters like us who haven't seen it?
Al Pacino and Fredo walk into a bank, and and the punchline comes later.
They walk into a bank and they have just the worst time.
Yeah, half an
Yeah.
hour in and out. Not the
It's,
case.
it's like from the get go, like
Everything
this
that
thing.
goes wrong does.
Now, they're there to rob the bank, correct?
Yes.
So their planned robbery goes incorrectly.
Oh, in all the
So
ways.
incorrect.
Like straight up, like you're about 2 minutes in, you're like, okay, cool, we're about to get into a heist, and then maybe like 10 minutes in, you're already like, oh my god, this is so, oh my god,
They get into it really quickly.
super quick.
Okay.
The whole film's a heist.
I thought
Yeah,
I
which-
thought the start of the film was
which-
very strong.
Which I kind of liked. I was expecting it to, you have the whole setup and the planning. Phase.
All right, boys, here's how we're going in.
Yeah, like that sort of thing. And then I was kind of shocked when like it just happened. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Yeah, I thought they maybe were casing the joint first, and then I saw Al Pacino with his big box, and I went, "That's a gun."
There's
Steph
a box
went,
on.
Yeah.
Steph went, "There's a gun in that box."
Definitely.
So yeah, the purpose. We're allowed to spoil, right? Sorry,
Yeah,
Christian. Sorry.
1975.
Spoiler. I should have watched it. It's my fault.
I mean, so the premise is that like they're robbing this bank, everything goes wrong, and we learn he becomes kind of like an idol to everyone on the outside because he's given them money. He's very kind. He said he's a Catholic, so he doesn't really want to kill anybody. He's being respectful, and everyone inside's having a great time, really.
He's like ordering him food. And...
He's a big anti-hero. Like,
yeah, he's teaching him how to, he's like handing them the gun and teaching him how to do moves with the gun and things like that.
yeah,
inside.
the old wartimey moves.
Yeah. And then we learned that basically the reason why he robbed the bank was to try and obtain, I think, $2,700 to pay for his lover's sex change.
Yep.
Which is it's based on a true story.
It was.
1975.
Would not have guessed where that sentence was ending at the beginning of it.
Exactly. It's like
Not
I said,
where I was expecting it to
I was shocked.
such a random concept, especially for 75, and that's why I thought like you couldn't write this stuff. I said in the before, and it's true because it's based on a true story.
It won.
that is-
it won screenplay, I think, which
Best screenplay, yeah.
is tough also when it is based on a real thing. But like obviously it's highly dramatized and there's heaps of other stuff that they've added to it. But
So-
the sheer concept of it alone, like the fact that I didn't notice this until afterwards, but it makes complete sense. It's the director is Sidney Lumet, who did 12 Angry Men, which checks out entirely because this is like it's pretty close to being a 12 Angry Men like bottle episode type thing, where it's only set in like mainly the one location. Like the focus on the like characters within the setting, not the setting or moving around too much. Like the lack of music, I loved. Like I'm jumping around my points.
That. Like it didn't click.
Dude, the atmosphere is amazing.
I'll say, just based on the real events, the main guy who it's based on, he said that he wrote a letter to the New York Times while he was in prison when the movie came out, and he said that he was concerned people would believe the movie's version of events, which he said were about 30% accurate, and his main objection was that the inaccurate portrayal of his wife as a plain, overweight woman whose behaviour led to his relationship with Eden, when in fact he had left his wife 2 years before he met Eden, who is the trans woman that gets the sex change. So then he was worried he was worried about that. And he said the rest of it, he said especially Al Pacino's portrayal and Pumperdink from Princess Bride plays Eden,
Have you
the
seen
lover.
Princess Bride?
The lover.
Pumperdink?
Have you seen The Princess Bride?
I have seen the
So
Princess
good.
Bride.
Pumperdink, yeah. So those portrayals, he said, were very accurate. But yeah, that was the only fictionalized part.
Yeah.
And of course, it's all dramatized. But yeah, I really liked it. I gave it, I think, 3.5. I'm thinking about a 4 maybe, but it did drag a little bit towards the end.
That's my thing. The middle and the ending. It got
Alex and I were on our
felt long.
phones a little bit.
It
We're a
felt
bit
long.
like,
So
How long's this one?
2 hours.
So I won't lie. After this, I was like, okay, I want to get a vibe. I'm going to watch a review, like a random ass review, or like it was someone reacting to it or something. And they legitimately said the phrase, God, this is dragging. And then like a mate of theirs said like, oh yeah, it's a bit of a dog day, isn't it? And it's like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Like the whole premise of that like middle half is that they are quite literally stuck there and they're having to wait. It's hot. It's like then the lights go out. Like it's all this stuff of they're trying to sort of pass the time, and they really hold on every scene for a really long time, which makes it drag. It does make it feel slow. But I was kind of torn as to whether or not that was a choice or not.
No, I don't
surely
think it was.
not. I
Nah.
don't.
Because now reflecting, I think we watched The Godfather Part 2
Two.
in one sitting.
Yeah.
That felt shorter than this.
That-
and the movie we
yeah.
watched before felt shorter than this.
Yes,
Damn.
and it was half an hour
Yeah,
longer.
So,
Damn.
So yeah, I think it did drag, but also
It
maybe
does.
because we'd just come off of a
slow.
2.5 hour film, we were thinking
Maybe.
the 2 hour one felt a bit long.
But if that one felt quicker, then that's weird.
But we watched
or maybe
it
it was
first,
fatigue.
so it was just that's what I'm saying. Could have been
It
fatigue.
did.
It is
definitely.
a slow movie though.
It did definitely drag, and I had to watch it in bits as I was running around today, and still as stopping and starting at an hour later at a time for that first part, and most of the middle where stuff is sort of happening before they're kind of just bunkered down. I was quite gripped, especially having to sit there and watch it on my phone in my car and stuff.
I think it was pretty revolutionary though, in terms of the things that it was trying to fuel, like the police brutality stuff, and saying the police are just going to shoot me anyway, like they did in Attica, and it was very.
I was
woke
all on board.
for- I know we were saying Braden's going to love this movie.
Yeah,
Braden's going to love this.
I thought
really
the first half had some black comedy vibes
Yeah.
into it, and then they leaned out of that.
The sheer incompetence,
Yeah.
just
Just how,
of everyone.
Yeah, just how the hostages are holding the guns at some point.
Yeah.
And it's just
It
Okay.
It definitely felt like I had that vibe. I think it was going for
And then
that.
you had the woman, like when they went outside, the woman's like, I'm going back in there, and it's just like, like if you're a real hostage, I feel like at this point you'd definitely be like screaming and like running.
Yeah, it was
away.
kind of
So on
Stockholm
board.
syndrome-y,
Yeah.
but also he wasn't hurting them. Like he
Yeah.
was treating them
But then
with respect.
then it was also the case of like, well, they were all like bank tellers as well, and they were all like underpaid. And,
Exactly.
like,
It was almost like a victimless crime.
yeah, it kind of became like fuck the machine. Like we're against the authority.
Did you say a rage against the machine?
I
I had to do it. I'm sorry.
I felt for him in the end. I didn't want him to get caught.
Well, from
Why did they kill Fredo?
so from
That's
Well,
why
I just presume that that's the real life story, so that's how it
he
happened.
did. Yeah,
think-
the dude that accomplice did.
But, like,
die.
why?
yeah,
Get
like
killed.
because they didn't really do a good job of showing like if he had like did he raise his gun or anything?
I thought that-
like, you
I
didn't really
thought-
see anything.
That he was actually going to accidentally shoot the police driver.
Yeah.
Because he kept bringing his gun down, like accidentally,
Yeah.
like he just
Accidentally
got
just
whenever a
hair
bomb-
trigger and
Yeah.
then it would go.
Yeah.
From the moment this film started, it's that teetering edge of is he going to die at the end of this movie or is he going to get away?
I felt really sad. Like I felt sad for Sal.
I was
when he
rooting for
died, 'cause I was like, I don't know. He's just kind of strung along at this point. Like he's just sat there, sort of just waiting.
Sal was pretty down just to die, though.
He's pretty down. Just
Yeah,
but
Sal
he's
wanted
very-
to kill himself.
He's very background character.
But he was
Sa-
just like
Sal
sitting there,
did say
like,
multiple times. I was like, "I'll kill the hostages."
yeah. Like he was
very fucked up.
It was like he was a part of it, but then like and then he was like also like, oh, I've never been on a plane, and then like you sort of start feeling, and then he gets shot.
Yeah,
I
it's
also
like-
felt really bad for Sonny talking to their name now Eden on
Yep.
the phone,
Yeah.
and just like Eden saying, oh, I'm never going to get my sex change now, but I've been trying to avoid you for 6 years, and so he's like, well, I still like I'll leave you the money, like I want to get you the money for you, and I'm going to go on this plane, and you can come with me if you want, or you could choose to stay. And he's like, I've been trying to get away from you for 6 years, like
Yeah.
why would I? I'm like, he's still doing this for this guy, this person that he loves, and that's it. Like,
yeah.
Eden clearly doesn't really care that much for him.
Nah, it's you like with it being a character piece, you really do get to like the amount of time you spend with them because you're not gallivanting or having all these big action scenes or anything. Like you really do just get to understand what brings someone to this point, and it's concerning.
Vietnam War vet,
There's a lot there.
exactly.
Lot to unpack.
And he's very just intellectual. He knows a lot
Yeah.
about the bank system, and he says to
Well,
the
the
guy
real
on the,
dude,
on
like
the
the real
TV,
dude was like a bank, like he worked as a bank teller. So
Yeah.
it's like obviously, like, and I think he says that at the start of the like you can kind of pick it up from the start of the movie, like,
Because he's saying he knows where all the alarms are and stuff.
and he
but
like
he kind of reminded me of Travis Bickle a little bit in the way that he was speaking to even the television. He said, well, why are you choosing to steal for money? He said, well, as opposed to what? He goes, get a job. He goes, well, if I want to get a job, then I need to be a member of a union. I need
Yep.
a union card. And otherwise, he goes, he's very... Like, he's-
Society's put me in
yeah,
this place.
exactly.
Which is very Joker, very
Yeah.
Taxi Driver, very. There's a lot of films like that nowadays, which is it's a conversation that needs to be had.
A bit of interesting trivia I just found out. Because as you guys are explaining this movie, I'm like, this sounds a bit like Inside Man, which is a Spike Lee film.
Great movie.
And-
That was a homework
Yeah,
segment, wasn't
Inside
it?
Man was a homework segment.
Oh, okay, so we've seen that. Because I saw that some time ago. But it was reminding me a bit of that. And then I've looked it up, and Spike Lee definitely drew inspiration from Dog Days. And the pizza man who delivers the pizza in Dog Day Afternoon is the same pizza man that delivers the pizzas in
God.
Inside
Oh my
Man.
God.
That's great.
They did a little cameo, like the
That's
same
so
guy.
cute.
I love
My
that.
dad could talk hours on Inside Man. He loves that movie.
That was a really good
I was
movie.
really impressed by that movie. That movie was very good.
So,
So yeah, I really liked it.
We all
3.5
have
or
ratings?
4. I'm not entirely sure yet. I'll
I'm
think
sitting
about it.
around there as well.
Yeah, I was really invested in the first half of the movie, so I think that pushes it to a 4 for me. Like
Okay.
I was like really interested in it.
Yeah. A 3.5.
3.5.
Very
Okay.
nice.
Are we ready to...
Spin that wheel.
Here we go. It's spinning.
I can never do that long enough. Yeah, I can't keep doing it. I run out of breath really easy.
So it's not a new one.
Ooh.
Okay.
It's The Bodyguard.
Okay.
You're going to be happy
Whitney
with
Houston,
that. That's,
Bodyguard.
Kevin Costner.
Kevin Costner.
It's so famous.
let me get in here.
The Bodyguard is like what made Kevin Costner famous.
Yeah.
I think for the audio edit, I'm going to cut myself out singing that and just cut in the actual song.
Okay.
If
Well-
you want to do
No,
that
No,
as
no,
well.
yeah. You got to have your...
Wait,
I'll mix it in.
is it like Triforce? If you're too in tune, we'll get cancelled for copyright.
Yeah,
So as long
exactly.
as you sung it out of tune,
So
we'll
long
be
as you
fine.
yeah, I was doing it deliberately, guys.
Yeah.
To make sure we didn't get YouTube copyright. Yep.
Okay, The Bodyguard.
Yeah,
Have you not heard of it?
Have you never
It's
ever?
the first time, especially this poster. It's very dark.
Which poster's that?
It's like
Oh yeah,
horror.
Yeah, that's the whole vibe of it.
He's never heard of
It's
The
not a
Bodyguard.
horror, but that's
Whitney
the vibe.
Houston's "I Will Always Love You" was written for this movie.
interesting.
I think. I'm
Does
pretty
he
sure.
does he protect some kind of like young kind of artist or star or something?
Yeah,
Yeah, Whitney
basically.
Houston.
Whitney Houston.
Right. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I do know of it, but I'm not sure.
It's very famous.
Yeah.
You'll watch the whole movie, and then I shit you not, you'll get to the last 2 minutes, and you'll be like, "Oh yeah, I know this movie."
Yeah, it's all in the ending, isn't
Oh
it?
God, it's got a bad rating.
Does it?
Oh, it's got The Bodyguard.
It's a
suck.
34%.
Did none of us
Are we
look at
watching
this?
Are we skipping? Can
It's
we
meant
do
to be
another
What
one?
classic.
year is it? What year is it? No, it's still a classic. We got to watch it. still.
1992.
No, it's
92.
Costner. Well, it's staying
if
on there.
I walk in and ask my parents right now, guys, is The Bodyguard a classic? And if they say yes, we'll do it. If they say no,
Okay.
I like that.
Okay, I want to take those
Ask
chances.
them if it's a classic, but also ask them
When you
if
asked
it
me in the
sucks.
pre-show, are there any movies you're not that keen on seeing? This would be one of them. So I'm willing to take my bet on,
Alright.
make a bet
All
on your
right,
parents.
you go ask your parents. I'm going to fill that
Sorry.
time.
How
I know
long's
you're
that audio?
excited for
How
Kevin
long's that
Costner.
microphone cable?
This one? Oh, you could probably... yeah, if you take it around that side, you could probably take it a bit.
I was
Invite
going
him
to
out
mention,
here.
we know Costner from a previous episode of Classic Callouts where we watched Field of Dreams.
Good one. Yeah, this is great.
Oscar nominee, Kevin Costner, everybody.
Can I hear all this commotion going on in the background?
Possibly. There's absolute chaos in this room right now. But we're still producing a podcast.
We're about to get
Steph,
Alex's parents on the line. I think.
What's your favourite Kevin Costner?
Maybe shout out how much we talked about the classic call-outs.
Guys.
Patreon pre-show?
Mom, Dad,
Yes.
How much do we
If
talk
you'd like to
about?
The
hear more about
Bodyguard,
classic
Kevin
callouts,
Costner, Whitney Houston. Classic or not?
Here we go.
Is it a
Is it a
classic?
classic?
One yes, Mum? Is it good? That's the other question. Is it a good film?
Oh, yeah. We got an yeah.
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you very much.
Listeners, you heard it here first.
Don't judge him.
The
We're
Bodyguard.
watching The Bodyguard.
Absolute classic.
Ladies
How
and gentlemen,
disappointed
we're
are
watching
you
The
in your
Bodyguard.
parents right now, Alex?
The oldest people on the premises agree.
Alex, how disappointed are you in your parents right now? Extremely.
He's not keen.
What was it? 34%?
Damn. Well, we're gonna see what the youngins think of it.
We're getting in there.
Oh, I can't wait for the screening.
So
Oh no.
I can't believe that the Bodyguard makes it and no Postman. Come on. Come on.
seen it?
You've seen it, Chris.
Of course.
We got you.
Damn,
On
why did I have to
technicality.
watch Postman?
All right, should we just make everyone happy and
podcast
talk about
posters,
Squid
yeah.
Game now?
Squid
Yes.
Game.
Oh, have we not talked about Squid
No.
Game?
No, we
well,
haven't.
Steph mentioned it a teeny bit, telling everyone else to check it
I was
out.
I
only a
think
little bit into it by
Three
that
of
point.
us now have seen it in full.
Seen it completely.
In dub, of
Michaela
course.
and I, in pure Michaela starting to get a little bit of FOMO, forced ourselves to sit down and watch the first episode.
What'd you think?
I was very impressed that they restrained themselves so
Double
much.
sub.
That straight up, it's just like last 15 minutes is when you actually get to it.
Yeah, it's very much a full show.
I was-
it's not just gimmicky games.
I
Yeah.
was not
So,
on board for this, and
Obviously,
then watching
we
the
can't-
first episode, I
we
was.
can't spoil because you're.
Yeah, no, it's still quite early days.
Me and
as
Gemma
well.
are planning to watch it.
I know-
It was just a bit late when we just.
I reckon
talked
we
about
can
it
give
last
you guys
night.
1 week, maybe 2.
Well, if we
I
got
know,
one week.
I know the events up to episode 3.
Um,
So Steph's already sold it. Let's sell it. Alex,
Yeah.
sell me Squid Game.
Write your name down. You can't. 'Cause you haven't
I don't know. Pen. You meant to sell me Squid Game.
Oh, okay.
bad.
Look. So this is probably walking away from watching the whole show.
Yeah.
I think it suffers a little bit from overhype.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone is talking as like the greatest show of the past how many years?
The memes.
Yeah, the memes,
The memes.
and all that. And,
Also, it completely, having watched the first episode now, completely checks out why the memes were made just from Red Light, Green Light being the first episode.
Yes. Yeah.
so I think that it is a very good show. I think the pacing is very well done. I think it's extremely watchable too. Like I watched all 9 episodes within 12 hours.
Even subtitled as well.
Yeah, even subtitled. But that's okay. I'm always fine with subtitles. I've conditioned. I watch normal movies.
you
with
have to be
subtitles.
fine with subtitles. The alternate is just not.
Oh, can we talk about the dub?
Well,
The dub.
we'll get to
Christian,
that.
Christian's
We'll get
an
to
expert
that.
on the dub.
Yeah.
oh, no, why?
All right, but overall, I think the characters are very likable, and like the ones who are dislikable and likable.
Deliberately dislikable.
I think that my only issue with the show is that I found a lot of it extremely predictable.
See, I don't understand that. I didn't find it predictable at all.
Chris, predictable?
Yeah, but I can't. I'm biased because I had a friend which was giving me like hinty hints on every little twist.
I'm not
so
even
I
talking
basically
about
knew
like,
them all.
that twist at the big twist at the end.
Yeah.
Which we obviously won't say, but there's another twist before that. I saw that coming from a mile away. It's like the twist to do with the subplot.
Couldn't follow,
Yeah.
but
Sorry, but like with saying that, I think some of the best thing the show does is that and I think Chris and I were talking about it, is that you not only get to see the world of the players, but you get to see the system, the hierarchy of the workers there too, which I thought was so interesting, world building.
yeah. What I was going to say,
You've honestly, you've piqued my interest more to actually continue watching.
Well, because they
Yeah.
explore the actual employees and like the sense that they're also really not free.
Cool.
I think that was
cool.
a point I made to you when we spoke about it yesterday. Like a lot of shows, like there's a lot of shows like this with these gimmicky kind of dystopian settings.
Yeah.
Much like this one. There's almost an identical Spanish one, which was on Netflix at one point, with people competing down to one in strange social games called The 100 or something.
Oh,
along those lines.
yeah.
That was very good, apparently.
Anyway,
Is that
what I was
that
saying was
about?
the difference between this one is not just having this kind of like gimmicky dystopian world is, we explore multiple angles. We're not just the players. We explore the people running the game.
And I thought that was good.
Yeah,
I thought that was so interesting.
There's
So you're kind
another,
of seeing it from all angles.
yeah, there's another subplot of the police officer from the outside. Like there's multiple angles here, and we create this world of these games, and it's so much more in depth than just we're in the game and this is a weird.
I
this
think
is a
all
weird
the
game.
characters are really fleshed out too. Like even the bad guys, even the kind of side dish characters, like they give you enough information to make you feel for them
I
all.
thought that those some very important some characters that you spend a lot of time with, their departures were very lackluster. Like
I could agree with that.
It was just like, oh, they're gone now.
But
I
that's
didn't
almost
get
like
any-
a testament to show you like how disposable everyone was.
Yeah,
Like,
but they
I
built
didn't-
them up for so long, so I still felt disappointment.
That as well, but I didn't feel it wasn't like when your character dies on Game of Thrones and you're like, oh, they died. I wanted them to make it to the end.
Yeah.
It wasn't like that. It was just like, oh, yep. Well, I was
That's how it is.
I kind of knew
Yeah,
this guy was going to make it. So yeah,
and then there's some other things, logical holes in their logic of the games.
yeah. But I mean, that
won't
could be
get
part
to
of the show.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
I
But
thought it was excellent.
I think I gave overall I'd probably give it an 8. Maybe like if I
I'd
could
probably give it a 9 out of 10.
If I could give it 7.9, I would, but I'll just round up to 8.
It just draws you in with those other plot lines because,
Yeah.
well, you almost forget the games are happening because you're like interested in the cop.
Yeah.
You know, like
Is there like entire episodes that aren't on the game?
Yeah,
Or is it?
there's
there is
there's
entire
6
episodes
games,
with
9
not
episodes.
games. Yeah.
Okay.
Excellent.
Yeah.
But like I said, I think the show peaks at episode 6, and then everything else is
Yeah.
good.
Agreed. But
I think
it's
episode
good.
6 is the best one, but
And at
There are a
that
few
point,
others
we've
on.
established everything as well.
Yeah.
And we have one of the plot lines
long
kind
are the
of
episodes?
simmering off.
most of them
An
go for an
hour.
hour. One of them goes for half an hour though.
Okay.
Episode 8 is half an hour long.
Is that the final one?
Second to last.
Oh, I didn't even notice.
Cool.
I was
That's
shocked.
strange.
But
That
yeah,
is a bit weird, but
Yeah.
like I said, I enjoyed. I watched it all pretty fast.
yeah,
so,
you watched it very quickly.
So it's extremely watchable, and yeah, the pacing's really good.
That's good. You know what doesn't sound watchable? I just looked up the 100 thanks to you bringing it up. This
Now-
show, I don't understand how people like this or how it got 7 seasons.
Is this the
It
teenager
sounds
one?
like rubbish. It's based on a book series. A nuclear conflict has decimated civilization. A century later, a spaceship accommodating humanity's lone survivors dispatch 100 juvenile delinquents back to Earth to determine its habitability.
Oh, God.
So that's not even the one I'm thinking of. But
Oh.
that's another Spanish. Is that
another
also
just-
Spanish?
Well, no, it doesn't seem like it's Spanish, but like it just sounds so cringy.
I got to find the Spanish one.
There
but
is
that
a
also
TV
has
show
an
called
awful
The
dub.
100. Is that what you're thinking?
That's
that's-
it.
that's
That's
the
that.
one.
That's the one.
The dub. That's what we need
Oh, we
to
got to
talk
talk about
Yes.
the dub.
Okay.
Much like the Spanish
Please
counterparts.
don't. Alright, so the only time you should ever watch the dub is after you finish the show and you want to have a laugh.
Or when you
Yeah.
get home drunk and you need to rewatch an older episode.
no, that's not acceptable.
Nah,
Is it-
I'm
that's when-
sorry.
that's how
Is
we
it
do it.
legitimately really bad?
So there's a old man in the show, and the dub for him is borderline offensive.
oh no.
Yeah.
It's real bad.
Can
for
we
him.
pull up? Can we pull up a dub?
Yeah.
Should I find it?
I've got dubs on my phone.
you've got it?
I sent one to Chris.
Oh god.
Yeah, look, the dub's not great.
Yeah.
It's bad. It's really bad. It's like the same three guys in a shitty room, like recording on an iPhone.
It sounds like it's just like the Netflix employees.
Yeah.
Like the workers.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
And
they got the
it's-
marketing team in.
Even the levels are wrong.
It's
like
not it's not the same like 4 Spanish people they have who do all their other shows.
it's like that, except it is different
Obviously,
from
they
those.
didn't have anyone that spoke Korean. So.
Yeah, it's the same quality. You know, it's like not
Yeah.
even mixed right.
Yeah,
it
it
just
just
sounds like it's
sounds
over the
wrong.
top of all the other sound.
Because-
sorry, from all directions at once as well. It's
Yeah.
not like
There's nothing about it.
No mixing, yeah.
It isn't mixed with the actual audio in any case.
It's just
they all
thrown
sound
over the top.
They all sound like they're in the same spot talking,
Yeah.
not like there's any distance or anything.
It's
yeah.
like they did the master track for the audio and then went, oh shit, we forgot to make a separate one that didn't have any of the speech and dialogue in it
Yeah.
for the dubs.
and just masked
And they
over
completely forgot and they just sort of put it on top and hoped no one would hear the Korean underneath it.
it. Yeah.
Like Christian was saying to me, you know, do you reckon that Hollywood's gonna get their hands on it? And as I mentioned to you, considering this has become so mainstream and it's so popular amongst Western audiences
Yeah,
now,
I don't think it will.
I think that
Like
Hollywood
Parasite
is
will never get
done.
done.
Yep.
Like it's done. It's not
Yeah.
going to get a westernized remake. Things like Battle Royale, for instance, had they're kind of like Hunger Games. Like it's not. It's been inspired. I don't think Battle Royale will ever be remade because
And-
You can't.
it's got its counterpart now. It's westernized counterpart. I don't think Squid Game will ever be.
And so we're seeing Squid Game come up on like top 10 in Australia on
Yeah.
Netflix and stuff.
It's number one everywhere.
I
there.
think it's the
So-
most watched show on Netflix now in history.
I say like, okay, so most of like Australians for sure are not watching the sub, right?
No,
I
yeah.
imagine
They're watching the
not,
dub.
probably.
My parents be
You
watching
wanna
the
hear
dub.
Oh god.
I reckon
Let's
I
hear
could
some
still watch
dub,
the
just for context.
Can you really do this alone? I need you. Oh man, can't you see that?
Get up! God, this bitch so pathetic. Stop calling me babe, an old man, huh?
All right.
Why does this sound like an American jock?
Yeah.
It sounds like the 10 people who they watched Dragon Ball Z and then they went, I want to be a
It
voice
sounds
actor.
like it should be animated.
I want to
Yeah.
be a
That's
voice
how they're
actor.
doing
Yeah.
everything. All
But
the
they're not
emotions,
they're
like,
not even good voice actors.
Dragon Ball Z abridged on YouTube is better voice acting.
Way better. Way better.
Like, also, so all the characters have ethnically, like, Western accents, except the Pakistani character.
Really?
Oh, no.
Who has an accent, even though they're all Asian.
Oh,
you know?
I
Wow.
would say the.
yeah,
I'd
so
say,
why don't they have Asian English accents?
I'd say
He's the
old
only one
man-
with an ethnic accent. It makes no sense.
I'd say the old man. Someone's trying to do an Asian accent for him.
Okay, so that they did something.
That's even worse though. 'Cause
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
white guy being like,
That's cringy as hell.
it's and you lose all of because after watching it, I sent Chris some translation. So you got the official Korean dub.
Yep.
This is the one that they say you should watch it with.
Yep.
Compared to the other the Korean subs that you should watch
Yeah,
it with.
versus CC close.
Yeah,
the
versus-
CC. Oh, just the normal dub, and it's just like he's teaming up with an old man. He goes, "Hey, friend, do you want to team up with me?"
Yep.
And then it goes to, "Hey, old man, you're on my team," and stuff like that.
Oh wow,
Like,
it's a
like-
completely
okay.
different vibe.
Yeah, and it's not like this nice friendly moment. It's more like just a statement.
Yeah,
like they were just reading
it
it
is.
off paper and not acting it out in
Yeah.
any way.
Hang on.
Which checks out.
Yeah.
Sounds exactly like what happened.
So the episode I rewatched was, I can't spoil it, but let's just say there was a room where some men were working together and then they start having an argument. And
You watched 12 Angry Men.
yeah, the levels, they don't.
Terrible.
One of them all of a sudden like blurts out and yells over the other ones arguing. And it's just like, oh, okay, that was much louder than all the other audio.
And then there's some other guy who's like, hey, I think
Yeah.
we should go about here like this.
Yeah.
So the original line for this is, "Sir, will you team up with me?"
Yep.
And then the dub is, "Hey, old man, want to do this together?"
What the how?
So they've
so
clearly
two
gotten
different
like the
vibes.
idea of like sir in some cultures is you respect your elders, so you call all
Yeah.
old people sir, which
And
is
then
why they
the
would have said old man. because it would have
Direct
just
translation. They just copied and pasted the script and put it into Google Translate. And and that fucked up, so then they tried to do it another way and it didn't work.
Yeah. And I'm
Unbelievable.
drunk and I'm hearing the English dub and I'm reading the subtitles. Not one line is the same. Every line, the subtitle says one thing, which I'm assuming is the Korean translation.
Yep.
The English, yeah, I don't know what's going on there.
That's
not good.
amazing. That's terrible.
Well, so next week we'll be talking Squid Game spoilers.
Yep.
Yep.
So, everyone, get ready for that.
Yeah.
Oh, and the point I was going to make was, so everyone's watching the dub. Most people are watching the dub that aren't cultured, like us.
I was gonna say when I searched Squid Game dub just then, like all the top things was like all these celebrities telling people to not watch the dub, news
Okay.
articles saying you're watching Squid Game wrong, Like,
It's essentially
Like,
a
people
public
lose the
service.
message, you
People
lose,
are
like, the real
trying.
message.
Tyke
Yeah.
tweet out something.
It is a
Yeah.
public service. Like, someone at their Oscar speech is just going to be like, guys, Squid Game sub.
you watched it wrong.
Yeah,
you watched
yeah.
it wrong.
But I was going to say, testament to how good the freaking content is. That this is number one in America and
the dub is
Australia.
so bad.
And that's with the dub. That's people watching the dub.
I feel like real general audiences probably couldn't pick up the diff. Like, especially if you haven't listened to watch
they'd
much
notice
with
it's
good
bad.
it's noticed it.
They'd notice.
I was going to say, like, surely some people are out there that have never like really watched anything with like a good dub either.
I think
If you've ever watched a movie, even like
Oh, okay. That's
your
not
general audience goer is going to notice the weird levels
Yeah.
and the terrible dub for sure. Like,
Okay, that's
Well, tune in next week for Squid spoilers.
Squid
Oh,
spoilers.
also,
Spoiler
quick spoiler.
games.
Not a single squid. Not one.
Well, they play that game that's kind of a
Wasn't-
little bit
wasn't
like
this a
looks
picture
like
of a squid?
Is there?
little bit.
it's a boxy squid.
The box drawing,
Yeah.
the PlayStation sacred symbols without the X.
Yes.
All right, Steph, you ready to do this one?
Yeah, we have to do a disclaimer to people. We went
We went rogue.
We've gone rogue.
Rogue.
What's
But
happened?
not Rogue Nation.
Oh, wait a minute.
Unfortunately, it is not the old ones.
Oh, are you doing the new ones?
Don't tell me you watch Quantum of Solace because it.
No, we watched Casino Royale.
Fuck
Okay,
yeah.
that's fine.
So basically, Alex found out I hadn't seen any of the
Daniel Craig.
the
Daniel
Bond
Craig.
films.
A new one comes out in less than a month now.
And he thought, well, instead of watching John Wick, like is it originally planned in this action segment, would you like to watch the James Bond film instead?
And
so,
we worked out after we finish your next Foreign Correspondence, we'll do John Wick and Jason Bourne.
yeah. So that's the
Nice.
next.
Cool.
That's the next. Yeah. So we're in for the long haul.
So, and
with
this is good because essentially people consider like the American versions of Mission Impossible could be like their James Bond.
Yeah.
Jason Bourne
Americans
too.
Yeah, I
Wish.
could see that. Jason Bourne. for sure,
Americans
yeah.
wish.
Yeah. So
Ethan Hunt.
he doesn't hold a candle.
He
to
could
James.
never.
No.
He could never.
No,
James
Daniel
Bond.
Craig's
But
on
the
a
thing
whole
with,
nother
but
level.
I love Mission Impossible because those are real action scenes shot in camera and they're beautiful and they're
Yep.
spectacular and you have to respect the craft there.
Yeah.
But James Bond's pretty cool.
Dude,
James
Yeah,
Bond is
James
just
Bond's cool.
classy and suave
dude,
and
that parkour scene though.
I was telling Steph when the movie started, I'm like, this is one of the movies that popularized parkour.
Oh yeah, and then you watch that scene and you're like, I get it.
there's hardcore parkour.
Oh my god, it's mental.
Oh yeah, free running as they call it. Though.
I love when he's chasing him, and the guy does all the sick moves, and he just fucking bursts through the wall.
Look, I'm not gonna lie, there was some swooning over Daniel Craig.
Oh yeah,
People didn't like him as Bond when it first came out.
We were
They were
both
wrong.
swooning, both
Yeah.
of us.
They didn't like the blue eyes. They didn't think Bond should be a pretty boy.
no, they were wrong.
There's
They
that
were
first
on-
Casino Royale, a lot of parkour, a lot of different things happening. I think a lot of people were kind of taken aback by
A lot
that.
of casinos. It's
A lot of
very
casinos.
different because, like, the director of this, he's the guy that did Goldeneye as well. So it's a change for him because I'd never seen a Brosnan. I've seen the worst one. Where's the one where he's surfing with Halle Berry? And
Oh, yeah.
the really bad one.
I think is that the one where the plot is just a news?
Yeah,
It's like a
Diamonds? No.
fake news is literally the plot of that movie.
I know it's awful.
Yeah.
That's the only one I've seen, but
Diamonds
I've
Are
never.
Forever,
Die
is that-
Another Day.
Oh, Die
Yeah.
Another Day.
But I've never seen Goldeneye.
Best one's Goldeneye for Brosnan.
And this is the
by
guy
far.
that directed Goldeneye. So he came on, they did Casino Royale. And I told Steph, I was like, Steph, there was a scene in this movie that when this movie came out in 2006, and Alex was a little boy, Mum and Dad rented it from. Do you guys remember Video Easy?
yeah.
Fuck
Yeah.
yes.
Do you guys remember the Video Easy guarantee? Rent it now or rent it free. at Video Easy.
He sang the song.
Damn
Damn
Do
straight.
you remember this?
No.
If you wanted, they did it for one film, 1 year release. If you couldn't rent it that night, when they got stock in, you could rent it for free.
Yep, because they were apologizing that you missed out on the new movie.
Okay.
So we rented this, and not for free because I had it in stock. And a scene came up, and like the whole family was watching. Like my nan and pop were there, and everyone was watching it. And I think my nan and pop had seen it, and they're like, "You can't let the kids watch this scene." And it's
Okay.
the torture scene. Have you seen it?
I wouldn't remember the exact scene
The
in
torture
question.
scene where they cut out the bottom of the chair,
Oh,
and they've
I've seen so many
With the-
spoofs of this.
With the rope,
rope.
with
And
the
they
knot at the
push.
end,
Yes.
and he's constantly knackering him.
Yeah.
that was
Okay.
hard to watch.
It's
and
fucking
Steph's like, "Oh,
brutal.
that looks painful." I'm like, "You don't know."
you don't know the half of it.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I was clenching. He's like, "You're clenching. What about me?"
Women have
that-
childbirth, men have to watch that scene.
Not experience it.
Equal.
Watch that scene.
So
You
you've
feel,
never
you
seen
feel other men's pain.
you've
my
never
God.
seen a Daniel Craig Bond.
No, the only two Bond films I'd seen are Octopussy and Live and Let Die.
What did you think?
Thoroughly enjoyed it more than any of the Mission Impossible films that I'd seen. I think it blows it out of the water. But I have been told that this is like peak Daniel Craig Bond film.
See,
anyway.
I've still never seen this one. I've watched the
It's
later with
it's
Daniel
a
Craig.
common debate whether this or Skyfall is the best one that he did.
Gotcha.
I think it's this one for me.
So what's
I
the
think it's
next
I'd have to
one?
watch Skyfall
Mads
and see
Mikkelsen
this.
so good in this.
Skyfall is so much more foreign to just like a classic Bond movie,
Yeah.
whereas this is still foreign to that, but
Yeah.
more. Yeah.
Oh, I'd say Skyfall's more because you have Q and the gadgets and Moneypenny in Skyfall, and this you don't have Q
That's
or
true.
Moneypenny.
Yeah, he's like out there just
Yeah.
doing it.
and it's a new Bond too. Like it's like
Yeah, he's young.
he's fresh.
It's a fresh
That's
Bond, really got to like
he's not-
blow
I
it
didn't
away,
realize
yeah.
it was that long ago.
Yeah.
That he started it.
He's been the longest Bond with the least movie, with the fewest movies.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah.
I did see a video that
insane.
popped up, and he was like, it was after like obviously when he wrapped filming for this one, he was like thanking everyone. It was like getting emotional. I was like, oh,
I really like. I
Who's the
prefer
next Bond?
Bond over Hunt. I think that Daniel Craig or like James Bond isn't so self-righteous like Ethan Hunt is. Like he doesn't pretend to be this good guy who's only doing everything for the right reasons and has the
Would
big
say
moral
Ethan
card.
Hunt's self-righteous.
I think Ethan Hunt is a bit. Oh, I've always found him a bit self-righteous.
Is
like,
it because
he
it's
just-
Tom Cruise?
Yeah, it could be because it's Tom Cruise. I
It's
don't
a
know.
subtext.
It was just this idea that like
Love Tom
like we said, James Bond is a bit of an asshole, and we kind of love that. That
Yeah.
he's like he's not perfect.
He's
not.
very direct.
Yeah, he
and-
does what he wants. He doesn't care.
Yeah, they'll tell him to do something. He'll do it his own way.
Yeah,
because he thinks he knows the
He'll
right
kill
way.
people if he has to. Like he doesn't care about that. And
He'll fuck up.
yeah, exactly. He'll mess up. He'll What was the other thing? He's just a bit of an asshole. He uses women. Classic.
Yeah.
We love that.
I mean,
Man
it gets
talk.
more politically correct as we get into
Yeah.
The new
as,
one.
as society got more politically
What,
correct.
what
this
was the
new
line
one-
from the old one that you?
Man talk.
Oh man, talk.
And
Man
obviously,
talk, and the other one we don't talk about.
if I met this guy in real life, I would be like, that's an asshole thing to do. But I like that as a character, they've made him complex like that, as opposed to Ethan Hunt, which I
I
think.
mean, world class spy, not going to be a nice guy.
exactly.
really,
He's
a good
definitely going to be
spy.
cocky and
Yeah.
Yeah, he's cocky.
He'll be gentlemanly if he needs to be.
Yeah.
So I loved all of that. Plus, I just love, I think, the British.
The idea of
that
a
was on
gentleman
it is
spy.
just better.
I mean, it's also very like
That's
a very
it.
classic.
It's
Obviously, because
classy.
of James Bond, but it's very classic like idea.
Yeah.
Everything is just more suave and debonair than what was in Mission Impossible, which I just enjoyed watching it more.
You just got me thinking, like, Tom Cruise would have been an American Bond era. Like, what if you look at all the Bond eras, but you have an American counterpart
Oh,
for what it would have been?
God.
There would have been a Tom Cruise era.
There's a
Mark
Matt Damon
Wahlberg,
era.
he would have been modern Bond.
Matt Damon.
Matt Damon would have been Bond.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
it.
excited to rewatch the Bournes when we do it later.
I still
Yeah.
never seen any of them.
They're good.
Join in.
The first
Yeah.
three are good.
Join in,
Um,
Michael.
So, what would you give this one out of?
I would give this movie a 4 out of 5. Considering this was the film we watched before Dog Day Afternoon, yeah, I would be comfortable with this as a 4 and Dog Day being probably a 3.5.
I'm
So
like
that's-
with this one. I'm like sitting in between 4 and 4.5. I need to watch Skyfall again to do that because I think I do prefer this to Skyfall. Even though I think maybe Skyfall's villain might be better. I love Mads Mikkelsen in this, but Xavier Bardem,
Javier Bardem.
Javier Bardem.
So Quantum of Solace comes after this one,
No.
and then it's Skyfall.
You're giving shit about Quantum of Solace. I have a feeling Quantum of Solace is going to be a more like rewatchable than I remember it being.
Okay, I'm just warning you, it's long and I think it's boring.
Okay.
But that's remembering from some years ago.
Don't the
so
Daniel-
you can confirm.
Don't the Daniel Craig movies go up, down, up, down, up, down,
Yeah.
up, down?
Yep.
Now, Christopher Waltz won
That's Spectre.
Spectre.
Oh, Christoph Waltz is a villain?
Yeah.
And Spectre was...
Wait, he's
okay.
in,
it was
he's in No
alright.
Time
Yeah.
to Die
It
as well,
was-
isn't he?
compared to Sky, like coming off
That's
of Skyfall.
why
was
I'm saying
definitely
we've got to
alright.
watch them all because the Bond films, because originally I only had 3 more allocated movies.
Yeah.
And they were going to be John Wick 1, 2, 3. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh, we should do Bond because like it's already out in
Then
America.
it leads up to...
It's a bullshit thing. Like it's already out in America.
Yeah.
Here we have to wait till November 11th. So
Thanks, East Coast.
yeah, fucking.
Sick.
So Steph granted me a one more film.
I'm getting
Because
mine back.
She said, "Oh, which 3 do you want to choose from James Bond?" Then I'm like, "Got to watch all 4."
No,
Daniel
you
Craig
can't
ones,
just
'cause
not do
it's
the last one.
One of the only Bonds to have their films all be
like
like
cohesive.
have
Yeah, one story.
yeah, one story. So interesting because the more I don't remember Quantum of Solace being a direct sequel to Casino Royale, but I've heard lately it is.
that the's like direct moments.
Yeah,
that
it's like a
reference it
proper
and
sequel
everything.
to Casino Royale, so that'd be
I
interesting.
remember playing the video game.
I love the video game.
It's fucking great.
I never.
Dude,
never
that
had
opening
that
mission
one.
where you do the end of Casino Royale.
Yeah.
Whoo!
Oh,
Good shit.
So I'm excited. Quantum of Solace. You got me thinking. How long is Quantum of Solace?
you guys
go
can
for?
all get very excited for Foreign
Not very
Correspondence
long.
Part 2.
It's not very long.
Quantum of Solace is
Oh,
significantly shorter
that's
than that.
good.
Quantum of Solace
Really?
1 hour and 46 minutes.
Ooh.
Okay.
Right?
This was 2
What?
hours. This,
Look.
That seems short for. It's very short for a James Bond.
This,
film, too.
this Quantum of Solace void in my mind could be incorrect. Maybe you got to
I-
go confirm.
I remember the beginning opens up with an awesome car chase.
Is
Yeah.
it the ending
I mean,
that's
they always
set in
open with cool.
the like the house in the desert? Is that one?
No.
Which one's that one?
I feel like they're in a rock
Skyfall
canyon.
ends with. I don't want to spoil Skyfall. Steph.
No, yeah.
Well, they are in some kind of canyon area
Yeah,
in Quantum of
I-
Solace.
yeah,
I remember it being very dry to
Now,
look at.
Doesn't No Time to Die...
Feeling very
I can't
parched.
But again, I clearly have this very like big image of
Negative.
what this movie was
Yeah.
like.
Doesn't No Time to Die clock in at like over 3 hours? Or
No,
am
No
I-
Time to Die is 2 hours and 46 minutes.
Okay.
No Time to
it's a
Die,
solid
and that's a
ending.
Brosnan one.
No, that's
No,
the
that's
next one
the new
coming
one.
out.
Oh, no Time to Die. Okay.
They all have the same name convention.
They all
But
have
they've gone off
'Cause
from the
they-
books now, haven't they? They've run out of books, right?
Oh well, yeah, I think
They've been remaking books
Just-
already for
yeah,
some
just
time.
ignore
It's like the
Ian
second
Fleming
Casino.
entirely.
Ian Fleming's not a part of
we
it.
just
anymore.
ignore Ian Fleming. He's got bad things to say about everyone and everything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I say the other Brosnan one was the one where it gets like North Korea and stuff involved. But that was Die Another Day.
Oh.
That one was alright.
I've just played GoldenEye on the N64.
Oh,
we all
That's
love
the only-
GoldenEye.
That's the
Yeah,
only...
we will play
It's got
cool.
Sean Bean.
Hell yeah,
It's a winner.
Yeah, I got Steph excited because I'm like, Ray Fiennes does come into
I'm
the picture.
excited
Oh,
for
yeah.
that. You got me swooning over Daniel Craig. Just wait until Ray Fiennes walks
It's
in.
Swoonesville over in Daniel Craig's James Bond. And you know where else it's Swoonesville? For everyone who supports this show, they're swooning over us over at patreon.com.
Oh, we're swooning over them
Talk.
too.
We're swooning as well a bit. And we want to give a special shout out to those who get a shout out, which is the wonderful Jai Perry.
Joe Perry.
Guy Perry.
Go, Jai Perry.
Thank you so much for supporting us. You can support us at patreon.com/millennial movie talk. You
Links in
can
the description.
chuck us a buck or two. Click the link down below. You get everything for $1.
That's it.
Not everything. You get a bit. You get all the pre-show and everything like that.
Including the exciting pre-show of this episode where we talked about behind the scenes of picking movies for Classic Movie Time.
Hey.
Classic callouts.
and a segment coming up. We're like a special,
Yeah, special.
spin-off thingy that we're not going to say anymore. You can go give us $1 and listen to it.
And hear about our
There you
personal
go.
lives.
And very much our personal
Yes.
lives. It was a long one.
It was a long pre. We always talk about our personal lives on this pre-show, though.
So,
Plans.
should we get into what you've been watching?
Yes.
Steph and I have a joint one, but I also have another little one that I got to pick on.
Ooh.
Do you want to start with the new film
Yes.
that we went to go see?
New film.
Nitram. Is it
Premiere. Nitram.
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 This is
Sounds like Pokemon.
it's a heavy film.
Oh, very heavy. It's a downer of a film.
It's a downer. It is the biography. Is it a
No, it's like a no. Could you call it a biopic? It's not really.
Australian Joker?
It's-
No, but it's based on the
Martin.
guy.
Is a
what's his
2021
last name?
Australian biographical psychological drama.
It's about the guy who did the Port
Port
Arthur
Arthur
massacre.
Massacre.
Martin Bryan.
Martin Bryant.
Yeah.
That's it.
So
That
Nitram-
definitely would be heavy. Yeah.
Nitram
Oh, yeah.
is his name spelled backwards.
Yep.
And
The
they
movie's
make
Nitram.
yeah,
Nitram.
Yeah, and they make
It's literally Martin.
The
backwards.
events leading up to his involvement in the 1996 Port Arthur massacre in Tasmania.
Now
it's
we
a,
basically sat in silence on the way home from this movie. It was a quiet car
so
ride.
Damn.
the credits in this film are completely silent.
Fuck.
So you get a bit like I kind of compare it to how films like Black Klansman end.
Yep.
Where like
Yeah.
you get
Update.
really confronting
Yeah,
information at the
they
end of the
hit
film.
you with it.
That, like there's one, and Steph kind of mentioned that she felt this was preachy. The
It's-
last line of the text that you get in the film was like there are more, like it explains
It explains what
it
happened.
explains what happened,
Yep.
what came from it.
Yeah, the
but then
consequences, the legislation.
the gun laws,
Yep.
and then also explain that no state or territory has fully complied with the gun laws, and that as of right now there are more guns than there were in 1996.
Yeah, I
Yep.
wasn't a huge fan of. Look, I gave this movie a 3.5 out of 5, and most of that comes from the performances. The performances were fantastic. So it's
Caleb Laundry
Judy
Jones.
Judy,
is
what's her name? Judy something.
Judy Davis
Judy Davis. Big.
plays his mum.
Yep. And
Essie's-
Anthony LaPaglia plays.
His dad?
He's Adelaide boy. You know.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And Essie Davis plays Helen.
Yes, all fantastic performances.
But him,
He is very, very good as well. Like
I know
he's
who you were talking about
fantastic.
straight away now.
Yeah.
I can see Caleb Laundrie Johnson.
Yeah.
Joe.
Yeah.
So-
He's from Get Out.
Yes.
He's from
Hockey stick boy.
Yeah, 3 Billboards. He's a Yank.
3 Billboards.
Oh,
I
right.
remember him
He
from.
Has a great Aussie accent.
Oh, he
Sorry,
and
Caleb
he's-
Laundrie
Yeah,
Jones.
I remember him.
Now-
He is so creepy.
He's very creepy.
Um,
Just to I guess preface our review, Tasmania has boycotted the production of this film.
The
They
premiere
had to
and
film
that.
it in Geelong because they didn't want any part of it, and the premiere has basically condemned it for being made.
Seems weird.
Now, I know I kind of agree with them in the way that it seems it's like I feel like you should wait a certain amount. I feel like it's still a bit too soon for a movie that's about this subject matter.
but Snowtown's been made.
It's been 20
Snowtown
years.
has been made. Snowtown's not really onto the
Snowtown-
same scale, and
Yeah.
just I think
Yeah.
that you're thinking the people that if this movie's a year older than us.
Yeah.
Sorry, well, not the movie.
the
The
events.
events that transpired are a year older than us. So many of the people that were involved and have family members that were so close to it are still living there right now, and it's still so raw to them. In fact, there's
I would
it's,
say quickly that they don't do the massacre.
They don't show it. Okay, good.
It cuts.
You wouldn't
it
expect.
cuts.
The frame before it though.
Oh,
Right
fuck.
He's sitting
That's-
to spoil the
that's right.
ending.
Yeah.
He,
No, I was
it's
expecting.
based on a true story.
I was expecting something like
He's
that.
sitting in the cafe. So
Yeah.
the whole thing is that, and Steph thinks it should have cut before this, but you get this really creepy sequence that I personally thought was it made my skin crawl. Where he's got his duffel bag with all the weapons
Yep.
in it. He goes into the cafe.
Yep.
He orders a drink and a fruit cup. And he sits down and he eats his fruit cup and he's watching everyone in the cafe.
Yep.
And you get this fully.
He's being polite to everyone, saying thank
You
you,
know
please, and
exactly,
thank you.
Yeah, and you're just like,
You know.
You know what's
the,
coming.
the last half an hour of this film, my heart was in my stomach.
Just
'Cause
nauseous the
'cause
whole
you
time.
knew it was coming. There is a scene where he goes to buy guns, and it is one of the scariest scenes I've
Yep.
seen all year. But it cuts. You see him pull out. He puts up a camcorder, sets it on the table,
Yep.
and then you see him look down, and he picks up a gun, and it cuts.
Damn.
I think, look, I think that scene was terrifying to watch, and it's a big credit to the scene itself. It was great. I think that they should have cut it beforehand, just because to me it seemed kind of. I just felt like it lost its impact by that point. They could have cut it when he was getting the guns out of the boot, as they'd done a similar shot earlier because he'd done two sort of stops. They did a very similar shot to mimic it. If they'd cut it at the end of that shot just to insinuate what was happening after that, I felt that it would have been more impactful. But instead, they went through this scene, which was very big, but then they didn't show the massacre, which is good.
Yep.
But also, it did lose. It meant it was very much heightening to nothing.
See, I'm directly opposite this.
Yeah.
I don't feel like this at all.
It also wasn't the end of the film. They then cut to the news.
They cut to the news, and then you see
And the
his
mum outside
his mum
smoking,
smoking a
upset
cigarette.
with what's happened, and then it cuts to telling you about the legislation. So I feel like it would have been more impactful if they'd, as great as that scene was. I think if they'd cut earlier, it just would have been a better.
I'm not.
I-
This
Okay.
is Steph's opinion.
Just purely based on the visuals that you provided me with your beautiful word picture. Thank you, both of you.
I'm frozen just imagining.
Yeah,
it. Like, you did a good job.
I'm
Yeah.
engrossed in
I
it
was
entirely.
like-
You guys did an incredible
can-
job. Good
yeah.
work. If there's ever an
comes out
audio
on
book,
Stan soon.
perfect,
Okay.
even better. From your word picture, I was visualizing it. I was super sold on it. I would have loved if they cut it a frame before he gets up, so you're just sitting in that moment,
Yeah.
Yep.
knowing that it's there.
And I did mention
and
to
I
Steph-
wish that there was nothing after it, and I wish it just went straight to silent
Yeah,
credits.
when you
I
mentioned
actually
him
would've-
eating the
Oh,
fruit
but
cup,
the
that was
film-
like stuck.
Yeah.
That image is in my head.
That was the
still.
other thing.
The
And-
film so heavily focused on his mum, though. That
So
I
you
feel like
need something
kinda
with
need
the
to end
mum.
it with his mum.
But then that's it, because then it goes like Alex said. This text
got
at the
the
end.
bees.
The text at the end. I agree with what they were saying. You know, it's empirical. They're telling you this is the legislation that happened, and none of these states actually adhered to the laws after that. Now there are more guns owned in Australia than there was in 1996. I don't know whether they took into account population density, population growth, percentage. I don't know any of that. But I did feel like it kind of... I don't know. I was like, as much as I agree with it, there
It
shouldn't be
deters
guns.
from the meeting a little bit.
I thought there shouldn't be guns, but I was like, it just kind of sounded a little bit preachy in the end. Like it came off a bit preachy.
It didn't. It didn't end with an actual like firearms amnesty advert like you
But
get on
that's-
TV.
Exactly. It felt like a PSA by the end. Like
It
felt
seems like a little bit of
Yeah.
like a "what are you doing?" like sort of.
Well, I mean,
I didn't feel like this at all.
no.
though.
I also feel like that's completely warrant. If anything, that's raising awareness.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if you ask anyone on the street, they'll be like, "Yeah, Australia's doing fucking great with guns. We got nothing. We got no
we are
massive
held in such a
massacres or
high
anything."
regard
Yeah.
because our gun
Yeah.
violence.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like we have such little gun violence, blah 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 blah. And it's like I feel like this film is going out to be like, hey, no, we still have a problem.
Speaking of the film itself, like we said, he is He won Sundance Best Actor.
Damn nice.
He's amazing. He does a great Aussie accent too.
Sorry, I wanted to ask what Steph was talking about earlier. So are you saying that you felt that the ending where it comes in with the gun stuff, is that kind of just there as an afterthought?
I just know I felt like it was, I guess, too emotive. Like it seemed like the film was meant to show us a very objective. His life. This is his life, right?
Yeah.
We're just giving you the facts. We're not humanizing him, but at times I was like, this is more a failure of the healthcare system in Australia than it is of him. It says a lot about that, right?
Which it continues to be.
Did not. Yes, exactly.
Get mental health into Medicare, vote Green.
He wasn't right, and he was saying, even reading about it later on, he said, I was trying to be friendly to these people, and they just kept avoiding me. Like all he
just
wanted was friends,
and he couldn't understand why people didn't like him.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it did all of this stuff. A really good job at showing me both sides of the picture.
Yep.
And then at the end, when it came in with this very strong, it told me this is what's happened since then. I thought that's great. But then by saying there are currently more guns owned in Australia than back then, and then they closed it, I was like, well, what are you trying to say now? I just didn't, I felt like it lost its impact
think
on
they're
me.
like, they're
Because you live here and you know, doesn't seem like we have a huge problem.
At the end, they were
be as
more
well.
trying to blame, it's the gun, all
Well, it
this,
just
instead of
kinda
all the other problems.
A little
and
bit of
stuff.
that. I just felt like it came, like I said, to me, I felt it was preachy. I thought the movie should have just kept itself as an objective biopic. It shouldn't have been trying to send, we should be able to take that message for ourselves.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm trying to ask. Are we telling a story for entertainment here, or is it for a message?
It's for a message.
It's definitely for a message by the end. I don't think
Because
the
we
movie
look at
would be. The
you
movie's
said
not
Tasmania
entertaining.
want no part in it.
Yeah.
And
That sounds.
But
think-
they also haven't seen. I don't know. It's such a close. But with them, you can't
they should have
really.
waited
You
a
can't
little
judge them.
Also, back onto this point of it's too soon and everything. When were films coming out about the Vietnam War? That was,
I guess, pretty.
Yeah.
straight away.
But again, we have I would draw a disconnect between a global conflict with millions of
Yeah.
people at play compared to
A very,
Yeah.
targeted...
It's
massacre.
It's a very local. It means a lot to Tasmania
was-
is still reeling
When was
from
the
this.
Boston bombings? When was that?
I'm not sure.
Because a movie got made
But
of
that's-
that.
Because that's Patriots Day.
Yeah,
that
when
happened
was
pretty
that?
soon
That
after.
was real
think,
quick.
That
So-
would only be...
that was
less,
prob-
less
that was-
time than this.
That was quietly problematic.
I
wasn't
feel
it?
like he should have been dead before they made this film. That's
Okay.
and he's not that far
Because
off.
I'm looking-
He's not that far off.
He is disgusting.
He's-
If you look at him in prison now, all he does is apparently. Because you look into this after you get.
Yeah,
arrested.
sure. Yeah.
And I've heard that in prison, all he does is eat 2-minute noodles, eats chocolate, and he exchanges them for sexual favors. That's all he does.
Oh,
Cool.
He's pretty
See,
gross.
I have,
Now, what I was-
in past, I've watched a couple of documentaries just over time about Port
Yeah.
Arthur, but definitely see, and obviously that's taking the view you kind of, it's just telling you the series of events, not really it was more just that. I'm nothing ever went delved into him really, and if it did, it wasn't maybe it was the healthcare stuff. It was sort of he was a troubled person.
So I'm
Sort
not
of.
trying to get too deep or controversial or anything, but just considering this was less than 20 years ago.
It was a year
Oh,
older
sorry,
than
just
us.
over 20, less than
was 20
25 years
25,
ago,
yeah.
1996. And for us, we weren't alive during it. We wouldn't remember anything like this. I can think of a similar event in a very close by country that did happen in our time, and I cannot imagine someone making a movie about that.
Is that
Yeah.
I cannot imagine anyone going near that in the next, maybe in 25 years' time.
I can definitely say that.
But-
Especially because of the tensions between that.
So that's why I can see people in Tasmania that
What
did
event?
live through
Sorry,
it.
am
I missed.
New Zealand.
Oh yes, yeah.
So
Yeah.
as a
Exactly.
paralleling, first time in a country's history, something like that happening, I cannot even get close to imagining
Like if
anyone
they made
making a movie
Columbine
about that.
movie or
Yeah.
something like that.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Again, it's 20 years later. It happened in 1996.
I think, but
Maybe in 20 years it'll be
giving
different,
more
but-
credit to the film and the filmmakers, they make a creative choice not to mention his name at all, not to even
I like
mention
that.
him and dad's name.
Do they refer to him
Really?
as
Yeah.
Nitram?
He only gets called Nitram the whole
Oh,
film.
that's great.
Or
it
Nit-
is. It was good.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And his mum and dad are credited as just mum and dad in the film, so they don't even give them the
Like
parents'
real
names to
names,
link
yeah.
it to them. The closest you get is she's actually called Helen in the film. It's crazy. I did not know he was essentially a millionaire. He
Wait,
he
whoa.
fell in close with a
Heiress of the Tats Lotto fortune.
and she died because of him. Really.
Oh, Christ.
He used to do this thing. He's a freak. I'm sorry.
I was
But,
going to say, I read a tiny bit about his imprisonment. First off, he was given 35 life sentences. He was
Without parole.
plus 1,652 years in prison without the possibility of parole. He's basically, it also has listed here that he's definitely tried to kill himself at least twice. Like, it's fucked.
I
Let
felt
him at this point.
as a credit to the movie, I was haunted by it and I thought it was really well made, but I felt uncomfortable to the point where I just thought it should have been longer. I think the movie should have been made later on. Documentaries are fine. I think like objective interpretations of this are fine, but I thought as a dramatization of it, I thought it was too soon.
Do you think it was a bit of a pulling the rug out underneath the message because it was so focused on mental health and then it suddenly took a turn into guns?
That
Or-
could have been it
that's
as
what I
well,
meant.
because
The final
the whole movie, I was thinking this is such a failure on the mental health care. Like they're trying
Yeah.
to, the movie isn't trying to humanize him, but the movie is giving me that's the message
It's
I'm
giving you
getting.
the
I'm like, he
situation.
was not looked after well enough. He was just left to his own devices, and that's how they created this was created. And then at the end, they're like, there are more guns, and I'm like, yeah, but that's not.
That's
what
not
I
the
got
ise you
from
were
it.
bring up.
Yeah, and that's
what
why I
was
thought it was
trying
this
to say before. It was
PSA. Like,
they're bringing it away from the message that they were trying to point out that, like, you know, there's also like a system that failed behind him, not just guns.
yeah,
think-
exactly.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
why I thought it was a bit preachy. I suppose.
I think it'd
yeah.
be good to ask some of the older generations that were alive during it, and it might be more of a significant emotional event in their kind of memory.
But that's it. It's
And
not
maybe
even-
you'll tell them, and they'd be disgusted.
It's
that
not
there
even
was a
older
movie.
gen. I was
don't know.
reading a list of the victims, and like the Alana Madeline Foundation is based on two of the victims who were 3 and 5 years old, I think.
God.
And it's like they would have been 28 years old today. Like that's
he
not.
was a
I think
freak.
it's
he,
not.
He after he did the massacre at the thing, he obviously drove. It went on for so long.
Yeah, there was a
How long?
siege and stuff.
Yeah,
right?
he camped. He went back to the house.
Yep.
that
Oh,
he
yeah.
killed those people.
The bed
in.
and breakfast.
The seascape, and
He did that
but
beforehand, right?
Yeah.
He
did
killed
that
them.
first.
Went to Port
Port
Arthur. Killed a mother and her 2 children walking. Like they escaped. He got in his car, left, and they held him down. Like help, someone's doing down there, not knowing it was him. He shot the mum after she pleaded not to hurt my children.
Yep.
And then he hunted down both the kids. Went over, killed 2 other people, got one of the males to go into the trunk of his car, and then he took him to the seascape, held him hostage. Police stuff happened.
Yeah.
But
Fucked.
yeah, it's awful.
This was definitely, you can definitely tell we're an Australian podcast because that's definitely the most discussion that Nitram has going to have in
Probably.
a while.
I think people should see it though. To be honest,
Yeah, honestly, it sounds like everyone should watch it.
Want to.
Yeah.
Like this is also.
It's heavy.
I kind
I
of
mean,
want to go
it's heavy,
watch
though.
like
I
even a
think
documentary
the
on it.
subject
But
matter-
non-Australians.
But, like,
it was
even- I
one of the
think
only
Americans will
only mass shooting in Australia's history,
Yeah.
really, recent
Oh,
history. at least.
Americans won't give a fuck.
The
I
subject
think
matter.
Americans have mass
probably-
shootings
I
more
think
frequently.
it's getting amazing reviews over in the States
That's
because
good.
they obviously don't have the ties to it that
Yeah.
we do.
They're watching it as a film.
Like saying like, you know, obviously we weren't alive with it, but I feel like it's still a very like.
Yeah, even so,
it's
yeah.
it's still like, oh shit, like it still hits, even though we weren't like around, and even like just the immediate aftermath, like, you know, we're only babies, so we're not.
Anyway, just from content I've already seen, like documentary stuff,
Yeah.
when Alex was describing him sitting at the restaurant,
it's-
you can all picture it. You've all heard the story. You know what goes next.
It all hits very hard.
Yeah.
Like even learning about it as a kid, like, because obviously you've heard, like, you don't hear much even about American one. Like it's not like something you're taught ever. Like you sort of hear things here and there about people mentioning.
Yeah,
it, but, like,
even now, if I just hear someone talking about Port Arthur, I'm like, oh, that's like the place where it happened.
Yeah.
It's
like
got such
a
negative
very,
connotations.
I feel like it's
They don't say
Yeah.
his name in Tasmania too.
Well, yeah, you wouldn't.
I want to say this is maybe one of the most controversial Australian films I've ever
It might-
spoken about.
I think Snowtown though. Snowtown's pretty controversial.
the subject
they
matter-
They try to boycott Snowtown too.
The
Oh,
subject
really?
matter
Okay.
in Nitram, well, like if you're talking about case by case, I think Port Arthur Massacre is objectively on a larger scale, and it's a little, it's makes my blood
It's-
crawl,
yeah.
just
Yeah.
my skin crawl. Sorry, Snowtown closer to home. The film
In terms
is
of effect on
extremely
policy
raw.
and
Like the
stuff.
film, I think shows a
public
lot more
opinion.
and is a lot more controversial based on what they actually show you, as opposed to Nitram, which avoids the really controversial stuff.
I've also
Snowtown
like
does
watched
not.
a documentary on Snowtown, and like even the guys from that, like, just very not
yeah.
great.
Yep.
Well,
right.
so it's going to be a long one anyway because there's actually something that I'll mute him. There's going to be something that
Very quickly,
I did want to bring something up.
I started watching Cowboy Bebop.
Oh, is it good?
I'm going to talk about it more next time.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm
I
excited.
quickly want to bring this up because I'll forget next week. But I watched a movie called Hush. I think Michael watched it.
I have watched it.
yeah.
This movie's so frustrating.
Oh no, really?
Hush.
No, not because of I think the way it's filmed and the direction they go with. I love Mike Flanagan. This is a Mike Flanagan film.
It's about
Mike Flanagan directed
home invader that's
we'll get
stalking out a
Yeah.
deaf. Go.
Oh,
ahead.
Anyway,
yes.
so
I've
Mike Flanagan, he's recently done Midnight Mass on Netflix. He also did both Haunting of Hill House, Haunting of Bly Manor, did Doctor Sleep, he did Oculus.
I've heard Midnight Mass is very good.
Yeah, he's an upcoming great horror director.
Yep.
And I was excited to watch Hush because it's him. This movie frustrated the shit out of me. Because half an hour into the film, the murderer just takes off his mask, and you spend so much time following. It's a woman alone in her house. She's deaf.
Yep.
And there's someone trying to kill her.
Yeah,
But he
I
can,
just read you.
Yeah. And you spend so much time with him, you always know where he is. And that takes away so much of the suspense.
Definitely.
Because there will be a scene where she will be like forming up, like she will do the alarm to the car and to distract him. And instead of staying with her the whole time, you cut
Stay with
and
him.
you go with him as well, and you see him go investigate the car. We know he's at the car now. We know she's over here doing up here. We know she's safe for a little bit until we get there.
Weird.
Definitely. Now you're talking about it and thinking, me thinking about, definitely, it just takes away.
And I didn't
if you followed her and not know where he is, I feel like when he shows up again, you're like, oh,
Yeah.
fuck.
Well, already that sounds like missed opportunity.
Him with the
Yeah.
mask is so scary.
It is.
Once he
then he
takes the
instantly
mask off,
takes
he's
it off.
just he looks like a weeb.
Weird.
Okay.
It's just like it took away all the horror for me.
I'm
And,
loving
like,
this because this has a high rating.
Yeah,
Really?
People really like this. My mum loved it when she watched
I
it.
quite enjoyed it for
wonder-
someone that doesn't watch.
I gave it a 3 still.
Does
I thought
it?
was still
Is it as good as the silent episode of Only Murders in the Building?
No.
Because that was fun.
No, but this-
fantastic.
Yeah, it's just like there's so many things of this that like just felt like it was more.
Seems so weird.
Maybe it's targeted as a horror film. I don't really think it's a horror film. I
No.
think it's more of a thriller because you spend so much time
Just a thriller.
with the killer.
Yeah.
It's weird.
So
Well,
that's that.
to finish on a funny note, I have Godfather anecdote.
Oh, tell us. Godfather.
So, I'm with my friends. They fall asleep.
What time is this, Chris?
It's about 1 to 2 a.m., between
Okay.
1 and 2 a.m.
And how long is the Godfather?
How long is The Godfather, Alex?
3
God,
hours.
You did
3 hours?
start The Godfather
So,
quite late at night.
I'm like, well, my friends are asleep. I can finally put on some tasteful cinema. Chuck on Godfather, okay? Now, my friend next to me, he snores during some important parts, but that's okay. That's not his fault. Towards the end of the movie, I've ordered some late night Uber Eats at this point. Wakes up around this point, funnily enough. The final climactic scene, I'm finally experiencing Godfather, and we're at the scene Alex described, and I vaguely remember it's the ending.
Baptism.
Him becoming the Godfather in more ways than one. And my friends just starts asking, talking and asking questions, and I shushed him. I shushed him good. And the next morning, my other friend is like, Alex said, Darren said you shushed him even. And I was like, he's talking about the shushing? I should be talking about the shushing. Man, I sit through a 3-hour movie, right? A Scorsese movie. I'm on the climb.
No.
Sorry.
Francis Ford Coppola.
Who's the movie?
Francis
Francis Coppola. My bad. I'm thinking of Scarface.
That's
Oh, God. All right. We're going to stop talking about classic movies.
Taxi Driver.
Taxi Driver. That one's him. Good. Anyway, and we're in the scene, and he's just talking about other stuff. He's asking questions about Al Pacino, or he's probably talking about Jack and Jill, Dunkachino. I don't know what he's on about. But that's a worthy shushing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Chris, I am so proud of you.
Good.
That is
Good on her.
fantastic.
I'm just like,
Serves him right.
it was a bit of a shh, just after the
Oh,
scene.
was it a shh? Or was it like a...
Was it?
It was an initial shh, and then me realizing that was incredibly rude and going just after this scene, I've been waiting to watch this.
How close are these friends of yours?
These are
Not
my
anymore.
closest friends. They were.
Okay.
Until he ruined my Godfather screening, which was going so well.
Yeah. Did you screen it
Yeah.
at your theatre?
No, this is at my friend's theatre, but it was private. Everyone was asleep. It was
Everyone was asleep, Steph.
it was a private experience for me. That's why I was so annoyed that my friend had to wake up and ruin the last 10 minutes.
Well,
Yeah.
guys, I'm sorry you had that experience.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Steph
It
just
had to be
talked
said.
constantly
But I'm
during
proud
that.
of you because
Yeah.
you've
Pardon?
grown as a person.
I
What I
have.
talk constantly through?
Let's get into the trailer game.
Oh.
Damn the show. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the trailer game. If you're new to the trailer game, what happens here is I've got 3 trailers. I've got the audio and the audio only, and our contestants here, Michael, Braden, Christian, Steph, they're all going to have one chance to buzz in and guess. Once they've done that and everyone's had their one chance, then it's a free-for-all. Go for what you want.
Do you want the scores?
I want the scores.
The scores are Alex and Braden on 2, Steph on 6, Michael on 9, and Chris. What's this? Chris was on 11.
May have been docked.
He got docked 2 points for a punishment, which we all agreed to.
Yeah.
That's a paddling.
You got
Look, it's all part of the game.
Still part of the game.
Still tying for the lead, I think.
There was a cheating
Yeah.
scandal.
Tied for the lead between Michael and Chris. Let's see what comes of it this round.
Right, you
Ladies
get
and
the points back.
Are you ready for our
Yes.
first trailer?
We're ready.
I've listened to none of these. I had to do it with Steph sitting next to me, so I couldn't listen to any of them. So it could be the fact that it's just like, oh, Jack and Jill's the story.
Do you even know what's coming first then?
Sure. No, I think I know what number. Two of them could be the same for all I know.
Sorry.
Hi there, welcome to Barton University. Here's your official BU rape whistle.
Who was that? That was everyone
Oh.
except me.
That was not me.
I heard. Do yours? Who had that one?
This one,
I
Me.
heard that first.
that is pitch perfect.
God damn it.
Imagine if it was Pitch Perfect 2 and you got it wrong.
Okay.
It's not because it's the
God
Welcome to
damn
Barton
it.
University.
God damn it, Michael.
That is abrupt when people get it straight away.
Yeah.
I know how I
it's
make
quite
people feel.
confronting, isn't
Yeah,
it,
I was like,
Chris?
whoa,
I wonder if that's my quickest one.
Yeah. So I didn't hear that.
You're in the lead. I need this, Michael.
Don't care.
Do you want an official review when I edit the audio?
Yeah, can we get an official review?
Yeah, I'll send you a screenshot.
Yeah, please. And then if not, we'll give
I'll,
Steph the points.
I'll zoom all the way in so you see the
we
first
might have
bar.
a retraction next week.
We'll
Yep,
see how
we'll
we
see.
go.
Trailer 2.
Quiet place.
We're going to get copyright.
A YouTube copyright strike
The
is what
trailer's
this one
just
is.
this audio.
Let's talk over until we get some talking.
Yep.
Just to make sure that the YouTube algorithm doesn't absolutely...
'Cause I couldn't listen
What
to
if the
them.
trailer's just visuals and this audio?
Yeah.
It's a montage.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
We got some kids. We are done.
Okay.
We're done. We got a copyright strike straight away.
Oh, absolutely.
You can cut to when we actually guess.
I'd make sure it's known the company's in business. I'd see that it had a certain panache. That's what I'm good at. Not the work, not the work.
Ooh.
Presentation.
Presentation.
Kielbasa sausage, cheeses, beluga caviar. And of course, who could live without German cigarettes? Get me as many as you can find. Some more fresh fruit.
Ooh.
The real rarities.
Chris has got a look on his face.
I need several boxes of Cuban cigars. The best. And dark unsweetened chocolate. Not in the shape of ladyfingers. A chunk of chocolate, big as my hand. You sample as wine tastings.
Oh, did it suddenly turn into stereo?
10 for Wednesday. And all this stuff here.
Do you want to guess?
I'm going to make a guess. Is it Schindler's List?
Oh!
I was going to guess Schindler's List.
It's Liam Neeson. I could hear his voice.
See, I've lost my confidence with the docking points.
Now that you've
that one
said
was
it.
mine for the
Sounds like
taking.
Liam Neeson.
Oh, now that
makes
you've
sense
said
now.
it, I can hear it now. I
Damn.
didn't pick it until then.
Thank God.
All right, trailer 3.
Well done.
Thank you.
We may have
Wasn't
to
sure
cut.
how long that was
we
gonna
may
go.
have to cut the start
was
of
so
that.
I'll
close
cut the
to
start of
guessing.
it.
Yeah, I will. Well, I won't. It's a podcast. Quiet place.
I'll do.
One day you'll get it right.
What's your scary move?
Very nice.
I pressed it too. Is it-
Which one?
Come on, Michael.
Is it Scream?
Oh, too quick.
Oh, fuck. It's going from the beginning again.
Is it? That's fine. It
I'm
was
gonna
very
make my
quick.
guess.
Who had...
I haven't done one yet.
You.
Scary movie?
Oh, I was going to guess that. So
Okay, it's between Chris and I. Okay.
Gotta go from the beginning.
I thought it was too quick.
All right, we'll go again.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Here is my Whisboro Massacre anniversary question. What is your favorite scary movie?
What's your favorite scary movie?
One generation's tragedy is the next one's a joke.
What is your favorite scary movie, man?
I'll show you.
Is it Scream 2? Fuck.
Do you want to take a guess? You got two options.
Scream 4.
Scream
Good
4.
job.
I was
Good job.
between 2 and 4. And I haven't seen 4 yet. That's the next one I need to watch.
You see,
4's the second best.
I would have got it without
the
that.
voice started, and I was like, if I don't jump on this as quick as I can,
It's
someone
like,
else
it's
is
If you
Scream.
guys remember, we've already done Scream.
It's fair.
So,
Yeah.
That makes sense.
We've
Well,
done
so
Scary Movie as well.
I was going to say
Oh,
Scary
well,
Movie, though.
I made growth.
We
I made
are
progress.
tied for first between Michael and Chris.
True.
Steph got a point there at 7. Alex and Braden still on 2.
Oh, long episode.
It's a long one.
Wrap it up, someone.
Not me.
Goodbye.
Done. End it. Cut.
That we're taking that.
I forgot which one.
Thank you for listening.
Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Patreon. Check it out, folks. I'm Braden.
I'm Christian.
I'm Steph.
I'm Alex.
No, Michael.
We're out of here.